Hey y'all, it's Miss Katie. Well, it's a gloomy day outside, but it's a nice day. I love these kinds of days. I was going to set up my sewing machine outside today, but with the moisture and last night's rain, I thought it's probably best to do my project inside. Today, I want to show you what I'm making it's a gift, a frugal gift that can be made for a man or a woman out of a woman's mini skirt and some rice. Today I'm making a frugal gift for one of our adult sons. Owen's birthday is coming up very soon, and I wanted to make him something that he could use, but that I could make on a tight budget. And I thought it'd be a good idea to share this with you. This is what I call a rice buddy. And this is my rice buddy that I use, and it's just made out of some leftover fabric. I think it's a sheet. I've made them out of terry cloth hand towels before, and that worked pretty well. That's comfortable. But the idea is that you would warm the rice buddy in a microwave I do this one for 1 minute and 45 seconds for my microwave and the amount of the size that this is. And then you can put it on your neck for some stress relief. Put it on your shoulders or your neck. So you can see the size matters. You're going to want the right or a size for the person you're making it for. If you don't want to use a microwave to heat this up, and I don't blame you for that, if you're trying not to use a microwave, or if you don't have one, or if you're off grid. There are two other options. You can put a crock pot on warm, and you can put everybody's rice buddy in that however many hours before bedtime that you would like to warm that in the crock pot. And you can fit several in there. If you find a crock pot at a thrift store like Goodwill, and you have room in your home and you just set that aside for that, you can warm them that way. Also, if you have a wood stove, you could put these in an iron pot, kind of away from the stove, but where the pot is going to warm up. You don't want them to catch fire, of course, and you're not trying to cook rice. So just experiment with that, but there are other ways to warm the rice buddy besides the microwave. Now, I'd like to just tell you quickly how I make a rice buddy, but then if you want a more step-by-step tutorial, stay tuned, and I'll have that more toward the end of the video. All right, for this particular one that I'm making for Owen, I actually had purchased two women's mini skirts at Goodwill. And, it doesn't really matter because it looks kind of an army green. I thought that would look like a guy's color. Just so you get an idea of the size of the mini skirt around. This is a size 12, as well as the other one I'm going to show you as I give you a step-by-step tutorial. So this one, I have already cut the end off of the mini skirt, so I'm going to save this for other projects that I'm sure I could come up with. And I measured 6 inches from the hem, and I just made marks along that, and then I cut it. Then I turned it inside out, and I sewed not the finished hem end of the skirt, but the cut end. I sewed it. I can't really show you because I'm past that point, but all right. So I turned it right sides together, and then I just zigzagged that twice because I don't want it to come out, and I don't want any rice to come through. I don't want any stitches to come out. All right. So after I sewed that cut end, then I turned it right sides out, like it looks like when the skirt's being worn. So now we have this long piece. I did iron. This is what I've just sewn, and I ironed that. And then I had the opening, the bottom. This is how it would look if a person was wearing it. So I had the bottom open, and what I did is I just sewed that, and I chose to just leave the hem there instead of cutting that off. I just chose to leave it for some decoration. I didn't think that would hurt anything. in a zigzag one time all along here, but I left this opening, it's probably about 3 inches, like that. Left the opening. You could leave more if you wanted to. It's been quite a while ago, I bought 2 bunches of dried lavender. And I bought them for this purpose. And I'm going to have plenty. I remember getting a deal on them, and that's why I purchased these. And although I bought them well over a year ago, they're still so very fragrant. But I've gone ahead and taken the first bunch of lavender, and I put it in this paper sack and just kind of crushed it. Just do your best to get the lavender buds off of the stems. And then I've done my best to get the stems out of here, because you don't want those to poke through while you're using your relaxing rice buddy. You don't want that to poke through. I purchased at the store for these 2 rice buddies 7 pounds of just plain cheap white rice. I'm not sure exactly how much it's going to take, but I will tell you it uses a lot of rice. And I want to show you how I do it by myself, but it would be much easier if you had a helper. I'm just going to take the lavender, the dried lavender flowers here, and pour all or a lot of them in here. Now, this is optional. This is actually the first time I have used this dried lavender on a rice buddy. But you know what? I was thinking, I bet you could use drops of essential oil. I've not tried it, but I'm going to try it sometime. And you could try that, and just getting any more of the stem pieces out that might be hurtful. Okay, I'm just going to use my funnel, and I'm going to fit my funnel. You don't have to use a funnel. Just figure out the best way to use it. If you can hold it open, that's fine too. I didn't leave enough space. I could probably rip a stitch out. But look, I think I'm going to be okay. Maybe. And I'm just going to fill with either one of my scoops here. Just start filling. Now, if this was something that you wanted to make seams like halfway up, you can make halfway seams every 4 inches or so. And that might help to more evenly distribute the rice. But I've made a lot of rice buddies, and I've never done that, and I just like to distribute it on my neck and shoulders after it's warmed up. So it's always worked for that. Well, I'm going to keep filling here. Okay, as you're filling, just kind of leave it. You don't want it to just all bunch down here. Kind of lay it down on the table, kind of get a nice, even fill. I'm going to estimate that I used about 3 pounds here. And it's going to depend on the size of your fabric, your tube. I am thinking, and Mr. Patient thinks too, that it might be wise to go ahead before you fill it with rice. If you wanted to try to make stitches here, maybe every 3 to 4, maybe even 4 to 5 inches, but not all the way. And that way, the rice could travel, but it could also get caught in those little pockets. So that might help to it more evenly distribute. So I might try that even on the next one that I'm going to show you how to make. All right, I'm going to just show you how I finish this up very simply. And then toward the end of the video, or after I finish this one up, I'm going to make a new one for you from start to finish. I'm using my grandmother's Singer 401A, and I always, no matter whether it's summer or the dead of winter, I use the foot pedal barefoot. I can't seem to do it with shoes. All right, so I'm just going to take this, just move all that rice to the other end for me. And I'm just going to finish sewing this. Actually, I'm going to finish sewing this, or sew this, close this up. But then I'm going to add a second seam here to reinforce that side, because remember I already have 2 seams on the other side. So I'm just going to sew that up and show you what it looks like when I'm finished. I am going to zigzag this twice, making sure everything's the way it needs to be. Thread color of your choice if you want it to blend in or accent. Toward the end, you need to move the rice around or you're not going to be able to sew. Just get it out of your way. And then backstitch to reinforce. Alright, something I want to share with you is you obviously can make this out of any fabric, and I just told you the size of the lady's mini skirt just so you'd have an idea. But you could get any fabric, you could get a lady's skirt and just use the bottom and cut it to suit your need. But I will trim this off here on the back of my machine. And this is going to be a nice rice buddy. It's frugal, it's forgiving, it's an easy thing to do, especially I think for a beginner and somebody who's looking for a frugal gift for the holidays or a birthday or any kind of gift. You could make his and her rice buddies for wedding gifts, because these are really nice. I've put these when I needed to apply heat on something, maybe my knee or what have you. You know, they're really helpful to have. But you can make the stitches as decorative as you want, or plain, or you can just not worry about it. If you want to know how to make a rice buddy step by step, I'm about to show you that. Otherwise, if you don't need that information, thanks for watching this tutorial, and let me know down below if you've ever heard of a rice buddy, or if you are interested in making one, or hey, if you'd like for me to make you one, maybe we can work that out too. So thanks for watching, but those of you who are going to stay with me for a step-by-step tutorial, let's get started on that. Okay, I have another size 12 skirt. I bought this at Goodwill because I thought it'd be cute to make something with it, or to turn it into a skirt for Little Miss Homemaker. So what I'm going to do is make another rice buddy, and this is actually going to be another gift. Now, I'm sure there's more than one way to do this. I know there is, because I've done them several different ways. But what I'm doing today is simply, I of course have washed this skirt. This is like a Madras plaid, if I'm not mistaken. And I just love it. And it's going to be a little bit more difficult to sew over with the different, you know, blocks and all, and the thicknesses. But I like it. I think it's going to turn out to look great. And what I'm doing right now is I am simply pinning the hem together so that I don't accidentally cut wrong. You know, that way I'm measuring properly, and I've got the same, it's the same under and on top. So what I'm going to do, and I just got a Sharpie because I'm going to be sewing over it. And this is very important. It's you can't just start cutting and hoping that you'll get it even. I'm going to use this instead of my 6-inch. So I'm actually going to measure 7 inches from this seam that the skirt seam, or the hem, the skirt's hem, 7 inches from that sewn line. And I'm just going to make a mark up here, just with my Sharpie, because it's going to be covered over. So I'm just going to go along here in 7 inches. And the skirt has a curve to it, so obviously that's why I'm having to measure all along here. And then I'll use the rest of the skirt for something else. Can use the pockets for something, or the waistband for something. You never know. Just going to make sure it's smooth. I did iron this. Okay, so I've got my 7-inch mark cut. Normally I would do this on my cutting board, but just because I'm sitting here with you, I'm going to just do it right here on my table. And I'm just going to eyeball and cut along my Sharpie marks. The thing about my sewing, I'm not what I call a seamstress. I just, you know, things I make are homespun with love, not perfection. So I'm an example of somebody who just gets in there and does it, even though she doesn't know the perfect ways to do it. She just gets it done. And that's what I encourage you to do if you're new to sewing or crafting. All right, now I'll just take my, actually I'm going to move my pins over for the same reason, just so that I can cut evenly. And remember, I'm cutting on that stitch line from where the original skirt was made, for the purposes of not having too much bulk in my rice buddy. Here it goes, just basically cutting the hem off. Okay, I'm just throwing my hem away. If there's a reason to keep that, you can do that too. Now I'm going to put, there's a little extra from the way it's made. Okay, now remember, the goal for me is not perfection. It's just homespun with love. All right, I'm just going to put these together now. Right sides together, and I'm going to hem the top and the bottom. And I'm going to leave a space to fill with rice. Looks like it's crooked, but you know, that's actually the way the dress was made, the skirt was made. I'm going to make sure my side seams are not at the same spot. So there's my side seam, and then there's my side seam to reduce bulk. Just make sure it's all smooth. Everything is meeting together where it needs to be. And then I'll just pin it. And I'm going to reinforce that right there so it doesn't pull out. Here we go. Never run over your pins. That could break your sewing needle. Let's do the other side. All right, I've got my right sides together. And I'm going to just trim my extra thread here. And then I'm going to turn it right side out. Okay, I'm going to go back and I'm just going to iron my seams down so they're just flatter, and I'll be back. All right, I've pressed that nice and flat. All right, I'm just going to fill this up here for us. And I'm going to show you how I close it up, which is a little bit different from how I did the green one at the beginning of the video. Alright, I have filled this. So basically I used a 5-pound bag and made 2 rice buddies. Okay, now the difference between these two is, remember, I used this already made hem and I just closed it up on my machine. Just like that. So it looks like that. But this one was turned under and pressed. So what do we do? Well, I'm going to get the rice kind of out of my way. And I'm going to turn it under. And I just want to show you how I just turn this under. I'm going to cut a little bit of this bulk, which is just because of the fabric, the material, the skirt I'm using. Okay. And then just kind of turn it under, and I'm just going to sew it closed. Just like that. And I can pin it. Really no need to iron it necessarily, unless I can't get it to stay closed. I'm going to do a straight stitch. There we go. Another rice buddy. Very quickly made. For a gift, for a frugal gift. And I'm actually going to give it Christmas time. Alright, let's see what y'all think. This is going to be for a female member of my family. You can make it longer. Remember, you can make it, if a person's bigger, you can make it longer. You can distribute the rice. Oh, that feels good even without heating up the rice. Just the pressure, kind of like those pressure blankets that are so popular now. That feels good. I hope you'll try this project. Let me know if you do. I'll just sit back here and relax with the rice buddy. Oops, nope, it's a gift. I better get my own. Before we go, let's read from Proverbs chapter 7, chapter 4, verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and in all you're getting, get understanding. Thanks for watching, y'all. Have a great day. Okay, I'm just going to take the rice buds. I'm just going to take these rice buds, these dried they're not rice buds. They're not rice buds. What's a rice bud? Yes, I need a funnel, please, the silver one. Don't even know what a rice bud is.
Silver, small hole, big hole.
Big hole.